blood, he was put into an ark. And so that's something to think about, folks. I don't think there's going to be this huge rapture. Well, I know there's not going to be the huge rapture everybody's expecting. Another thing to think about is the 144,000, the first fruits rapture. And you'll hear about people talking about the first fruits rapture, and of course the entire pre-trib crowd adopts this as their own huge rapture where millions of people have disappeared and are gone. And, in the book of Revelation, chapter 7, and I think it's chapters 7 and 10 or 7 and 9, where it talks about the two groups of 144,000. And people look at both those chapters and think it's talking about the same group, one group. Actually, it's talking about two distinct groups of 144,000. But for this audio, I'm just going to talk about the first group of 144,000, referred to as the first fruits. Now, check out that number again. I said it's 144,000 first fruits rapture. It's not millions and millions and millions. And the reason there's only 144,000 is because these people are found without guile. And what guile is witchcraft. They're not involved with the apostate churches today. They're not involved with the witchcrafts of these false visions and prophecies and dreams and putting the names Lord on them and spreading them out all over the place. They're not involved in errors. They have sought the Lord. They've sat at His feet and they've learned the truth from Him. And they don't follow man. They follow Him. And so they're found without guile. They're found without witchcrafts. And so a lot of people think, well, wait, this talks about virgins, so they have to be men. And most people don't realize that the term virgins is always in reference to spiritual terms, just like the term whore or virgin. These are spiritual terms, folks. They're not physical terms. And this 144,000 is going to be made up of men and women. It's not just one sect that's sexually pure. They've never had sex. It has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with sexual terminology, period. The term virgin means they were found without guile. They were found pure before the Lord because they weren't filled with witchcrafts. If you look at guile in the concordances, it'll tell you it's witchcraft. And so these people are found without these errors and witchcrafts that dominate our churches today. And so there's 144,000 of them. And they are the first fruits rapture. And then later you'll see where 12,000 each from the tribe of Israel is sealed on the earth to go about and do the Lord's work during the tribulation period. And so, and the Hebrews never included women in the terminology. They would use men. They would use male pronouns and nouns. But because they didn't refer to women in their writings. And so, whenever you see man or men, it includes both. It's not sexist. God is not sexist. In fact, one of the things that He hates the most is discrimination of sexes. He hates discrimination. Adam and Eve, Adam was formed from the side to be his helpmate, not some kind of piece of furniture underneath his foot. And I know that Satan loves to take that and run a mile with it. And you've got his isms today in these nations where, like Islam, where the men just treat their women like they're dogs, they're a piece of furniture. They're they don't love them, they don't take care of them, they abuse them and they beat on them, and they do everything Satan would want to do to their women. And you see the Satanism involved with Islam. There's no justice in Islam. There's no equality in Islam. And so you can see the things that are completely not of the Lord, from the Most High God, and yet they put His name on that religion, and it's blasphemous. It's one of Satan's biggest toys right now, and you can read about how Islam was created by the Vatican, and who owns and controls the Vatican. So it doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to just go through and do research on what's exactly some of these religions are. And as the Lord leads you into truth, He'll see exactly how Satan has infiltrated them and how he runs and controls them. And that includes the Christianity of today, what most people want to call Christianity. I know a lot of believers out there who really love the Lord really resent being called Christians. They just want to be called believers. Because Christianity, something just totally run and dominated by Satan today. And so I want to get back anyway to to what's coming with Maitreya and Jesus, Sananda, and all this stuff. Some of you may ask, why do I spend so much time on this? And it's because it's what the Lord has led me into for years now. And obviously it's very important because He has spent so much of my time focused on it. And I don't hear anybody else talking about this stuff. I mean, when these guys arrive, all of a sudden you're going to have these self-expert gurus who are going to, come out of nowhere and start talking about them like they know who these people are and stuff. And I've been talking about it for years, and that's just the way it is. And so, it'll happen. You'll start to hear more and more when they arrive. But I think I've been the only one who has been consistent over the past several years to be warning people about this, because the Lord has put my focus on this. And a lot of times people just don't see what's going on in the spiritual realm, what's going on with the fourth dimension, because you stay focused on the things that you can see, things that are in your physical realm, what are happening that you can see with your eyes, hear with your ears. And the Lord kind of has me back and forth between both realms. And so, there's very few of us that actually do deal with both realities on a daily basis. And it's hard to know when the spiritual realm, fourth dimension, is going to come into our physical manifestation, and we'll start seeing things in a physical manifestation that we know are already taking place behind the scenes. It's hard to explain, but it's just all this behind the scenes stuff. Who's controlling the strings behind the strings? The New World Order itself, this Illuminati, they're aliens. They're fallen angels that have a council that rule from space, and we know that Satan inhabits the heavenlies. He inhabits the first and second heavens. And this Illuminati group is a group of aliens, and what they've done is fathered their own seed on Earth. They have their own genealogical children on Earth and lines on Earth that they've preserved over the years. And so we know them as the 13 families of the Illuminati. When you'll hear the term Illuminati in reference to all of those involved with the New World Order and the whole group in general. But in actuality, the Illuminati itself, because they call themselves the Illumined Ones, they are a council of aliens that are controlling the children of the New World Order. And so when you see the Bushes and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, these are all family lines that go straight to the fallen angels, to the aliens. Their genes dominate these family lines. And so these humans born on Earth are Nephilim. They're hybrids. They're half human, half alien. And that's why they can be so easily controlled and possessed by their ancestors, because that's what they are. These aliens are their fathers. They're started these family lines, and throughout the years they've kept their genealogical pure by only interbreeding amongst family members. Some people call them the elite. Some people call them the elite and the wealthy. What they are is damned to hell, because they're enemies of the Most High God. They're offspring of the fallen ones. They have no consciousness of God. Neither will they ever. They've renounced Him. And so, because I can't say all hybrids, because the Lord said in the last days of Noah, 99% of the population at that time, other than Noah and his 4 sons, had contaminated DNA. And we're seeing that today. We're seeing a huge amount of our population with contaminated DNA, but that does not mean that they are damned. I mean, most of these humans that have contaminated DNA still have souls. They still love the Lord. They choose to serve the Lord. And so it all comes down to choice on whom you will serve, God or man, God or Satan. But these Illuminati families, they stick to serving Satan, and they're heavily controlled by them, and most of them are involved with Satan worship, and they do this through their secret societies. They have their own branches of masonry and all these other different types. They're very high up, and then you'll see branches underneath them for the other tares or evil and the wicked to follow into. But they sit at the top of these. But what I'm finding is that these Illuminati, this council of aliens that's controlling everything behind the scenes on Earth through human pawns, such as Dick Cheney and George Bush and Ariel Sharon and all of these, Yitzhak Rabin and all of these people, that are